Hey y'all, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist. So listen, this is a real quick message. So I just recently today commented on one of the content creators who I follow. I really like him. He is a social worker, I believe, and a teacher. And he was responding to somebody, and I basically felt like what he said, us in the mental health field need to make sure we reiterate ever so often, especially if we create content on social media. And especially if that content is more on the personal side of things versus the professional side of things. Now, I've made it clear whenever I post something, I make it clear if this is my opinion, if it is backed by research, all those kind of things, right? Especially if I'm doing something more mental health and educational. Now, that being said, though, something needs to be said again and again so that y'all remember and it sinks in because it seems people get confused about this still. Do you know that therapists are just regular people? Do y'all know that? Because listen, the person he was commenting to basically was saying, you're not supposed to be biased. You're a therapist. You're not supposed to be biased. Let me be clear. We're not supposed to be biased inside the therapeutic space, in the therapy room with clients. In real life, we're humans. We have opinions, we have thoughts, we're biased, we have implicit bias, just like everybody else. Y'all got to get out of this headspace that therapists are these superhuman people. Like, often people will ask me things like, well, um, is your marriage easier because you're a therapist and you know the things to implement? No. Well, you know the right things to implement in life, so your life should be smooth. Who said that? Huh? Listen, this is one of those scenarios where we learn the stuff. We know how to help you. But baby, helping you versus helping ourselves is a whole different ball game. That's why we have our own therapist. Speaking of, another content creator that I saw stitched a video in which this gentleman said what I look like going to talk to a therapist if they need a therapist. Huh? So baby, your doctor can't have their own doctor? Like, I was confused. I was so confused. And it's because people genuinely believe that mental health providers must have perfect lives. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm a little touched. I ain't even gonna hold you. My grandmother used to say therapists and psychologists and stuff, the reason they can help people is because they a little crazy themselves. I'm starting to believe her. I'm starting to take that as truth because at the end of the day, we are human beings first. Okay? And you have to understand something. When we get on platforms and create social media content, we are often speaking as our regular personal selves. Like I said, I'll make it clear if it's something professional based, but often I'm talking to y'all as me. But the funny thing about me, though, is I show up as me with my clients too. Because if you're going to be authentic, you need to be authentic across the board, and that way you'll never have any problems. That's how I feel. Now, you got some people who feel like, well, your authentic self isn't professional, though. Who said? Who said? If I am authentically an ethical person, a moral person, a genuinely good person most of the time, I'm not good all the time. But if I'm these things naturally, who said I can't show up as me and still always be professional? Code switching doesn't make one professional. Let's be clear. So I am able to show up as myself with my clients that way when they see my content because plenty of my clients have found my page and I'm okay with that. Now, ethically, I can't follow them back. That's in our code, but they can follow me. And my clients ain't never had a problem with anything they've seen. Now, on the flip side of that, though, because somebody got in the comments and said, well, what about when all those people were saying that they were going to fire their therapist because they posted social media content saying that they voted for Trump. Like, that's not fair because that's their personal decision and that shouldn't affect it. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Us being free to say what we want to say with our content and us being human and being able to have opinions and thoughts, that doesn't save us from the consequences of those things, though. See, there are people who might see my content and never want to hire me to be their therapist because they don't like something I believe or something I said. And guess what? They have that right. I'm not a fit for them. At the end of the day, you find a therapist that's a fit for you, that aligns with you. That doesn't mean they have to believe everything you believe, but certain things might make you feel more or less safe. So for some people, depending on their life and what they're bringing to the therapist, they might not feel safe with somebody who voted for Trump. I told y'all, therapy is political. I don't even know how else to word that. They're allowed to have their beliefs and all of that, but they can't run from the consequence of if people don't like it, especially if they openly talk about it. And here's another confusing point for a lot of us who work in this field. Now, everybody has their own code of ethics. Psychologists do, social workers do, counselors do. We all have different ones. Certain things might be similar, but they're all very specific to the field, right? But I believe that most of those, if not all of the code of ethics, say that we are to promote social justice and be advocates. It's very hard for those of us in the field to even understand how somebody could align with this administration and still be that. So that's where we fall into problems because even if you say, but you can though, like I can advocate for you even if I don't agree with you, perhaps. But for some people, how do you feel about me though? You not agreeing with something like pizza is one thing. Not agreeing with how I live is a whole nother thing. Agreeing that people should be deported who really don't deserve to be, that's a whole nother thing. So that's where we get into some confusion. But again, we're human beings. We all have different minds, we have different opinions, we have different thoughts. That should never affect the therapeutic space. But when we get on our social media pages, or when we at home, or when we outside, we get to be human just like you. And life is hard for us just like you. It don't matter how many interventions we know. Life still life's for us too. And I need more people to understand that. We are human beings first. All right? All right. Now, y'all have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. And I will holler at y'all later.